Give it a bonus. Charlie's a professional tire
painter.
Tire painter. We don't use proper wheel. What are they called? Wheel stickers or tread wear. We don't use that. We like to turn around. What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of Honda Street Garage. Today we're going to be talking about ECUs. So what ECU do you use for your B20 Vtec? Because there's not really a plug-and-play ECU out there. So a lot of people keep asking me questions, so I figured I'd just make a video on this subject and on this topic. So here we go as we discuss how to handle the ECU side of things with your swap, whether it's a D series, B series, H series, anything that you want to do. You're going to have to address the ECU and how to run it. So here we go. The first thing to understand about the ECU is it is not a one-size-fits-all plug-and-play type of situation. Sure, you can get your engine bolted in, but then you have the wiring harness and then the ECU to deal with. So what do? Well, we've already discussed wiring harnesses in a previous episode. I will put the episode number here. And in that episode, I basically explained that the best wiring harness that you can use is the one that comes with the car. And if you want to stay OBD0 or OBD2, you're going to have more difficult issues with your swap than if you just convert to OBD1. Now, the best reason to convert to OBD1 is because it's just simpler overall, less wiring to deal with because it has one 4-wire O2 sensor usually. And the best part is that you can chip the OBD1 ECUs, which makes them much easier to deal with as far as getting your swap running and running properly. The easiest solution you can go to is go to a website called xenocron.com, and they sell ECUs there that are socketed, and they can even provide you a base map for what you have in your car. You can tell them a list of what your engine is, and if you're running headers, intake, O2 sensor or knock sensor deletes, they can do all that for you. You can also go to eBay and find socketed/chipped ECUs for a pretty affordable price, and it might seem a little costly, but it's going to give you a lot less headache. Your car will start up on the first try and go. Now, of course, the proper way to do things is to get a chipped ECU and then go to a dyno tuner and pay $400 to $500 to have your car dyno tuned. But not everybody obviously has that in their budget to just go spend, but it is the right way to do it. Now, if you have a turbo setup, you're going to have to go to a dyno and get your car dyno tuned. There is no plug and play for everything when it comes to turbos. Anyway, what ECU do you get? Well, if you have a non-Vtec engine like a B18 or a B20, you can use a P75, whether it's automatic or manual. You can actually convert these ECUs to manual from automatic. Now, as well as converting these ECUs from automatic to manual, you can actually make them Vtec if they're non-Vtec. So you can take a P06 ECU that you find in a junkyard, which is relatively easy to find. You can go to xenocron.com and you can order a socketing kit to chip your ECU and also the Vtec conversion components. If you have any skills in soldering, it's easy to do, but you definitely need some patience and you definitely need the right proper tools. There are lots of videos on YouTube about how to chip your ECU, so just go search that, and also how to chip your ECU. If you do a search on Google, have plenty of information that will come up. If you go to xenocron.com and you go into the tech section, you will find just about all the information you need when it comes to chipping your ECU. Now, when it comes to a B20 Vtec setting, there's a lot of confusion on this subject. How do you get your B20 Vtec running properly? People say use a P28. Using a P28 is a great foundation, but the reason why people say use a P28 is because you can chip it and it already has Vtec components inside the ECU. The only thing that you need to determine when you are doing a B20 Vtec or an LS Vtec is what head are you using and what intake manifold are you using with that head. If you're using a B16 head on your B18 or B20 block, definitely the easiest thing to go to is the P28 because it doesn't run the snail intake manifold that is on the GSR. But the best thing to use, basically a Type R base map, be very conservative on your distributor settings. Do not time it too aggressively, and that is a great starting point for a B20 Vtec or LS Vtec, because the Type R engine is a 1.8 engine with basically a B16 head and short intake runners. So it's going to run the B20 Vtec quite simply. Now when you start getting into GSR heads, things do get a little bit trickier, but it really depends on what manifold you want to use. Now, this is a B16 manifold, and the Type R manifolds are a little bit better but look quite similar to this. The GSR manifolds, which I do not have with me at the moment, the GSR manifolds use a butterfly system, or IABs as they call it. You will need to run a P72 ECU if you are using a GSR head with a GSR stock intake manifold. However, if you use a GSR head with a Blocks or Skunk 2 intake manifold that looks similar to this, then you can use the P28 and you shouldn't have any problems. Matter of fact, I highly suggest that. But when it comes to it, same thing. Use the Type R base map for LS Vtec or B20 Vtec. The B16s do not really give it enough fuel, and it's usually just a little bit too aggressive of ignition. Obviously, when you build a motor or you use high compression pistons or anything like that, you are going to need to go to a dyno tuner and have your engine tuned. But to get it started running, kind of broken in, you can use a Type R base map, which is a nice, easy base map to use. It should run relatively smoothly and relatively well. This is what a chipped ECU looks like. There's actually a chip in here, right here, and this is actually a P06 board that has actually had Vtec added. This is one of the components, and there's a few more in here, and also it's been converted from automatic to manual. You can even get those copied chips on eBay that say Spoon or Mugen. Those will actually do you better than plugging up a stock P28, you know, running no O2 sensors and NOx sensors, and the car barely runs. The quickest failure to engines is really detonation or not enough fuel, and if you're running a B20 Vtec, a lot of times detonation will become an issue quite quickly, and that is what destroys engines probably faster than anything else. So keep that in mind. If you're doing an H-series swap, P28 is a great base. You just get a socketed ECU, you order an H22 chip, plug and play, boom, 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 starts right up. Same thing with a D-series. Generally speaking, that's why I tell anybody doing a swap to just go ahead and plan to convert to OBD1 and just run a chip. You're gonna have a whole lot less headaches, and things are gonna be much easier to deal with plug and play wise to be able to get your swap to start up and go. Because there's nothing more frustrating than paying all this money for an engine, bolting it in, and then you get to the wiring and ECU part and it just won't run, and it will not run properly. But the easiest thing to do is go to eBay or Xenocron or SP Tuning and order you a socketed ECU. It will cost you some money, but for peace of mind and headaches, geez, I can't really go through anything else. Or if you're proficient enough, check out some videos on how to chip your ECU, order a kit. They're usually about $25 from eBay or Xenocron. They'll send you all the components to chip your ECU yourself, and if you would like to take a crack at it, but beware, you can destroy your ECU. With all that being said, thank you for joining me on this episode. I know it was a little bit geeky and a little bit nerdy on this episode, but just had to put this information out there. And thanks everybody watching out here. Click subscribe, click like, and we'll see you again next time on the next episode. Peace. Couple of things I forgot to mention earlier today when we were discussing ECUs. This is John.
Oh, dude.
We are now on Twitter.
At HondaStreetGarage.com.
Holler at us at Honda ST Garage on Twitter. Follow us there on Twitter. Thank you.
Twitter.
And if you haven't followed me on Snapchat,
At me on the snap.
get me on the Snap. Yeah, snap that.
At me on the snap.
Get at us at the Snap. We blowing up on the Snap chisels. All right. Also, if anybody wants to donate, I don't know. Should we do a GoFundMe, or would we be assholes? Leave your comments below.
You can pay like 10 cents. I mean, you know, like everything counts.
Fuck it. So if you want to help us take this car to the next level, get the engine bay done, help us out on the GoFundMe, or you can just call us assholes. Now, some people think this car is a flawless car to begin with, and it's not. It definitely has dings and dents that you really can't see. It would not qualify for a show.